Ah, nice sound desync. Oh, there it goes. Good enough. Remember this game? How about you? He's a good Ken. Who does fucking hard DP wake up from that far away? Depending on the active frames of the media you're using, hard DP can still be invincible enough to like go through the active frames because it's got first frame invincibility, but then like it doesn't last that long. Really good medias in Third Strike have really long active frames. You can always see like every character goes for like very specific medias because of their long active frames. Like if you see like Ken stand strong is a decent one, especially with a tower combo. Ryu stand medium kick has a lot of active frames. Akuma stand medium kick, Oro stand medium kick. Like the medias that people tend to use tend to have enough active frames to stuff even like the semi-invincible shit. The parrying to block was nice. No fireball on his confirm. Fireball lowers the damage. If you can never do the fireball, you should never do the fireball. Maybe you can get the confirm without the fireball. The confirm is made more difficult because it's kind of better to do EX fireball than it is to do just strong fierce into nothing. Pelipper is literally... The thing about Polytoad is that Polytoad got to OU literally because of Drizzle, right? Polytoad is an extremely shit mon apart from... Like, if you look at T-Tar, even without... Like, T-Tar still has really high stats. Polytoad's only remotely good stat is its special defense. And it has a... Like, water is a good type, but it's still a monotype, and most monotypes are just a little bit worse than, like, dual types. What should I do with neutrals, Urian? Stand fierce, crouch medium kick. Which game? Which game, Urian? Anyway, Pelipper, even by having a flying type, is already a little bit better than Polytoad. And then, with access to rain boosted Hydro Pump and also like rain accuracy Hurricane, Stab Hurricane, and then also actual recovery, which Polytoad basically doesn't have. You have to like run Rust Polytoad, which was shit. Having recovery means that Pelipper can run... Ooh, YSP. Pelipper can run the Rain Rock, whatever the Rain Rock is called. Damp Rock. Pelipper can run Damp Rock so much easier. Like Polytoad's only recovery is either Leftovers, which you're not running, or Rest, which you can't run Chesto Berry. So if you're running a Damp Rock on Polytoad, you can't fucking heal. But Pelipper's still got Roost. Ooh, that dash through was really good. If you parry the last hits, you can SPD. I thought you could SPD on block anyway. I'm surprised you went for the parry. I didn't realize that was plus. I thought that was minus enough to SPD. Medium punch and hard punch are both really good. Pelipper has Roost. Like every other fucking flying type. Nice! Oh, it traded. That's really weird. I'm surprised that traded. I'm like really surprised. Anyway, it doesn't take... My whole point is it doesn't take much to be better than Polytoad. Perma Rain is inherently OU-ish already. I mean, not so much anymore because not perma weather. But like 5 turns of Rain is already good enough to be extremely high tier. And the only thing going for Polytoad was that. And now there's a new mon that has like better things going for it. Remember when Little Cup was like first coming into play in oh my god, remember, oh fuck, I have all these memories of early Gen 5 UU. That was like the first tier I played. Stay medium punch is really good, stand fierce is really good, low forward is really good. Walking and parrying is pretty good. Fireballs are okay, especially the high ones. It's very easy to jump over a fireball and get a full jumping combo. It's very hard. It's like a lot more impractical to dash in on an upward fireball. Upward fireballs are a lot harder to punish. So all the weather setters in Gen 5 were immediately relegated to OU, except Hippowdon. Hippowdon like chilled in UU for a while, and then I think eventually made it to OU. And the thing about Hippowdon is that there was also another little Sand Rush mon Like, there was no competition in the lower tiers. Like, there was like a big reason to have all of your weather setters. I think actually Obama Snow was like UU. I don't remember Obama Snow's tier. I think it eventually went UU, but I think it stayed OU for a long time before it actually fell. Ooh, nice parries. Clap, clap, clap. What the fuck? That could have been a huge punish. He went for an absolutely baby combo. Nice red parry. Anyway, there was like zero competition for weather in UU and below. So Hippowdon, once it got up the weather, was like the only other weather setter down there was like fucking Vulpix. So once Hippowdon got up the same was just there. For a little while. And that was really scary because there was this cool little mon called, at the time, Sand Slash was unreleased, but there was this cool little mon called, oh shit, what's it called? Stoutland, which had Sand Rush, and even though it was a very mediocre Pokemon, the fact that it had stab return slash stab, what do you call that? Retaliate? Ooh, nice. It was like the best revenge killer ever. There was literally only one switch in all of UU to Hippowdon. I mean, not to Hippowdon, to, ooh, nice juggle. I think Stand Short would have been better. He would have been able to get one hit and then, juggle Roundhouse. And the Roundhouse would have done better stun. Towards Strong was not the best normal there. That was a brave uppercut. Anyway, literally the only mon in UU at the time that countered Stoutland was, Rhyperior. Stoutland could easily break through steel types with Fire Fang. I shouldn't say easily, like, you know, most steel types could take a hit. The point is, you know, they easily got worn down. Oh, he went for the reset. That was good. He barely got the meter for that. On the Crouch Fierce, he got the meter. I was thinking that wasn't an option. Optimal Ender. That was a 7-hit juggle. Or it's still okay here. Or I can escape the corner really easily. Neat. Thanatos is so unnecessary. Everything he does is unnecessary. Oh yeah, Snover was there too. I forgot about that. Anyway, everything except Hippowdon was really bad. And even when Hippowdon was banned, Hippopotas just ended up being used. Hippopotas plus Stoutland was a really dangerous combo. Also, Rhyperior is a really nice, really easy mon to switch in on, for the record. There are a lot of... Rhyperior is a good mon, but it has a lot of counters. Oh my god, he went for the red parry. Why would you do that? Oh my god, Thanatos. Thanatos does not care. That would have killed me. Yup. HPS Wheezing, that's pathetic. Can Wheezing already just Willow Garchomp? Force it out. Wheezing, I think, has okay special attack, right? Certainly not good. I remember how bullshit that meta was when Stoutland was running around. Every single match just came down to like who fucking played their Stoutland better. I remember PO, like not Pokemon Showdown, but the old one, Pokemon Online. They had the Smogon tiers, but they had their own little tiers. There was like a Smogon server and then the Pokemon Online server. And I remember the tiers were developed independently. And they were the most part the same because they were both based on usage. But there were some notable differences. And I remember distinctly that when... I remember that Virizion was the PO equivalent of RU for a really long time. Where it was OU in Smogon tiers. Just like, what the fuck are you doing? How on earth? I remember I literally saw that and I was just like, okay. And I just fucking added a Virizion to my team and just swept everyone. Virizion was a really awkward mon back then. Virizion is still a really awkward mon. All the other of those guys have like a really unique niche. Keldeo is really unique. Cobalion is really unique. Terrakion is really unique, and Virizion isn't. There are like a couple other mons that kind of do what Virizion does. There are like several, I shouldn't say several, but there's like Breloom, and there's a few other mons that use similar coverage. Tokuro's a really good Yang. Also, physical grass moves kind of sucked, and special fighting moves kind of sucked. So you're in this really awful position with Brazion that you either wanted to use HP, you either wanted to use like Focus Blast or fucking Leaf Blade. When you'd much rather be using like Leaf Storm, or was it Leaf Storm? I don't remember. It had Giga Drain. Yeah, having your it's like the easiest one to resist. Swords of Justice, the Musketeers. Those are usually what people call them. Those are unblockable. Sayembu is very hard for Hugo. Razion's definitely the worst in my opinion. I feel like it's even worse than Kabalion. Like, noticeably worse than Kabalion. Even Kabalion's kind of shrug. Kabalion is very unique, if nothing else. Kabalion's one of the most unique mons. The only mon that shows its typing does absolutely nothing the same. I think he got out SPD'd there. He definitely could have supered. Surprised he didn't do that. Technically speaking, you can't buffer super there because if Yang does a third Rekka, if you're like doing super, it'll just hit you. There's no auto block in this game. It's a 2-block string, so it'll interrupt your super will never come out, and you'll still get hit. I remember when Kabalion's Volt Switch set was a meme, but now that's like its main set, I think. Stealth Rock, Volt Switch, HP Ice, Close Combat. This sounds so stupid, but it's actually pretty good. It's very anti-meta. It like has a great defensive type. It keeps momentum really easily. It gets Stealth Rock up reliably. And it's like a really hard mon for a lot of Pokemon to counter. It's like such a bad set though, because like Kabalion's already really weak, and then you've got just a bunch of weak moves, and you're splitting your special and physical. I remember when that like set was first conceived, and it was like hilariously bad. Like every now and then people would run it. It was like, well, technically it gets Volt Switch. People would run Volt Switch and it would do no damage. Everyone ran Sword Stance, Close Combat, Stone Edge, or Iron Head, and either Taunt or Sub. That was like the optimal set. That was super good for a really long time. That's still a good set now. Ooh, these empty jumps. Yang Stun is pretty good with EX Rekka. Kabalion's actually one of my favorite mons design-wise. I've used that mon on so many teams. It's been with me through thick and thin. Nice parry. You have to go for really aggressive parries like that against Yang. Yang's damage is really bad. And he's very safe. So if you don't go for aggressive parries, you'll never open him up. And if you go for aggressive parries and miss them, it's not that bad. Yeah, Terracon's literally a better Kabalion. Especially if you're running just like fucking, you know, SD and then 2 attacks, and one of the attacks is it's Close Combat Stone Edge. That's just Terrakion with a slightly better defensive typing and worse stab. Terrakion runs Scarf better, it runs Banded better, and it runs SD better. The only thing it can't do is Iron Head, and that doesn't really matter that much. Oh. Terrakion is also stronger, in addition to better stabs. Tomi is a good player. Oro can counterpoke. Oro's one of actually not that many characters who can counterpoke Makoto's crouch medium kick with that button right there. The problem is whiff and crouch fierce all over the place invites Makoto to dash in, because it's kind of a slow button with long recovery for Oro. The range is not that good and the recovery is kind of long for Oro. Keldeo always been kind of the best, yeah. There was a time when Keldeo wasn't the best, but then people discovered Keldeo Plus. The idea back then, right at the start of Gen 5, was Keldeo Plus Politoed, which isn't bad, but, you know. Nice sandbagging. Lots of sandbagging. It's just like, well, you know, Specs Keldeo is really hard to wall, and in the rain it's even harder to wall. But ironically, Keldeo is way stronger alongside a Tyranitar than it is alongside a Politoed. Mostly because Tyranitar beats almost everything that Keldeo beats. Especially back then. The only Mon that really beat both of them was Toxicroak. That was literally like the only one. Every Mon that switched into Keldeo, Tyranitar not only beat, but also trapped. I remember running a meme Latias set. It was like Barrier Latias. It was like the one Latias that can repeatedly switch in on T-Tar. Even if it has like Banded Crunch. Barrier Latias beat it 1v1. Very nice. Crouching Makoto. All that damage. I don't actually know how Light Tatsu works in this game. I think not all. I think just some characters. I don't know how Force Stand works in Third Strike. It sounds really stupid. I'm pretty sure Force Stand exists, but not in the way that it does in Street Fighter 4 or 5. It's like different. It's like type Starmie. That could switch in repeatedly on T-Tar. Or not, maybe not switch in on it, but that could T-Tar could switch in on that and Starmie would win. Reflect type Starmie got a little popular. I think Latias had Reflect type too, didn't it? Something did. Mew? I don't remember. Some other Mon. They're like only 2 Mons with Reflect type. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that there's no actual Force Stand, but like different attacks will have different real animations, and some of them are really good at forcing like opponents to get hit mid or standing. But I'm pretty sure that they don't just become standing for the rest of the combo. What's really interesting is there's no flag for crouching in Third Strike. There's no like crouching flag or standing flag, and there's no like attacks that have the flag for only hit standing that I know of. It's like the only one. Like, what else is there? Snorlax dropped to UU for a while. Gengar dropped to UU for a while. Alakazam dropped to UU for a while. D-Knight's been UU. Starmie might literally be the only one. Gyarados. Oh. No, Gyarados was bad for a while. I think in Gen 3. I don't remember. And maybe it was during Gen 4, during the physical and special split. I remember Gyarados suffered quite a lot for that. Or maybe it benefited from it. Maybe Gyarados wasn't good until the physical special split. Gyarados is notable for literally getting like no flying moves. It has like bounce. And that was the physical type, and Gyarados' only good attacking stat is physical attack. Anyone remember McIcegar? That was a man set. McIcegar is like the stupidest set that's ever been like meta defining. I'm like literally not talking about Third Strike, but it's here. It's on. What's the one I just watched? That one. Let's watch another. McIcegar was Gengar with No, Ice Punch. Ice Punch, because it was pre-split. Ice Punch, Thunderbolt, Focus Punch, and I think Sub. I don't remember if it actually ran Sub or if it just ran Focus Punch by itself. But Ice Punch was special because everything was special back then. Tyrannoboa. Was that also Focus Punch? I remember that set. That's been ages. I haven't heard that in years and years. Healthy meta. Oh, I see. 2 Gyarados and 2 fat Celesteelas. Anyway, Gengar's attack is absolutely laughable. It's like 50 base attack or something awful. Ice Beam. I don't think Gengar gets Ice Beam. It was like T-Bolt and Ice Punch, I think. Even though Gengar's attack set is absolutely laughable, the only 2 mons that could stop Gengar with Bolt Beam coverage were T-Tar and Blissey, and Focus Punch beat both of them. I love when really dumb sets are anti-meta. Oh, what the fuck? Help. I mean, even Smogon is pretty centralized. Smogon tiers. Ooh, nice. Good link. It's quite hard to do. Anyway, even Smogon tiers are really centralized when tournaments are involved. Usually if you're just playing on the ladder, you won't see like a whole bunch of centralization until you get really high up. But if you like watch tournaments and shit, there's very specific mons everyone runs. In Gen 6, it was like the heavy stall. It was like Blissey, Clefable, Mega Sableye. I forget. There was like a very specific team. Skarmory, I think. There were like 7 Stallmons where every single team at the very highest level were like 6 of the 7 Stallmons. People didn't run on the ladder that much because it's not very fun to play. But it was like super good. Even if you had taunt. Even if you had setup moves, like that team had like the pokes to beat like any mon they could set up. Taunt's like the worst enemy of stall. I wouldn't say taunt's the worst enemy, but it's one of the biggest enemies of stall. Not that many mons run taunt though. You have to like make your team worse to be able to fight stall. Not worse, but just worse against everything else. It's not enough to run like a Stallbreaker mon to beat a full stall team. Like Crobat with fucking Toxic and Taunt and Roost is pretty good. Pretty good at beating like a few stall mons, but beating 6. I really like Stallbreaker mons, to be honest. Oh, he missed it. I think Yun would have got hit there. Nice. Stallbreaker Glow Score is like the best one. The best Stallbreaker. It's still not even that good. Taunt, SD, and then either Facade or Ice Fang plus Earthquake. That's like not that good of a mon, even against stall. It's okay. It's a fine mon. Nice confirm. It's really hard to cancel Crash Jab into Super. It doesn't... He buffered it, like, very obviously. Oh yeah, soft-boiled Mew with Will-O-Wisp. That was good. That's like that's a better mon in general, I think, than Stallbreaker Gliscor. Mew is like good against almost every Pokemon. Stallbreaker Mew is just good in general. Oh, knockoff Gliscor is more common now. I was thinking of old Gliscor, which always ran. There was like a time when they always ran Facade for the Toxic Boost, but Ground plus Normal wasn't enough after a while. They added new mons that made Ground plus Normal not good enough. And then you ran Ground plus Ice because that's super good. But now knockoff is like really hard to resist. And they buff the fuck out of its power, and it's more anti-meta. Gliscor has really good recovery even if you're not like healing. I like was so good at Gen 5, and now I'm like hella fucking bad. I'm 2 gens out of date. I didn't play XY that much, and I literally just did my first time playing Sun Moon. Later, Epsilon. I wonder if we did EX-DP instead of Light DP there, because that works on Makoto, I think. EX doesn't do that much more damage than Light. All of Ken's DPs do about the same damage. Imagine if Ken used Neutral Toy there. They clearly think a lot about it. It's hard. It's like impossible to keep good balance between like 700 mons. But they clearly think about balance in a lot of their decisions. The really obvious example that Nintendo cares at least a little bit about balance. The Game Freak cares at least a little bit. Was when they passed Hurricane on Zapdos but gave it to Articuno and Moltres. I have tried Multi-Blood, it's cool. It's a cool game. I don't give a fuck about them banning special moves. I mean, particular moves. The only move I can really think of that they banned was... I mean, they banned, like, certain Baton Pass bullshit. And besides that, it was just, what's that move? Swagger. If you ever played Swagger, like, you'd be A-okay with them banning Swagger. Damn, Kihara with the numbers. The damage will be slightly reduced in that combo due to, actually, I don't know how much that would really matter. I don't know if scaling's even a thing. Swagger was so awful. And they banned that stupid combo with block and heal beam and the fucking berry that recovers your PP. They banned that awful combination. That shit like didn't do anything healthy. You could only use Swagger for the dumb shit. There wasn't anything good that Swagger did. That shit was so annoying when you're like, you've got like a fucking 5-1 lead, and they send in their fucking Prankster Sableye, and then sweep your team because you can't hit through confusion. Because you get 8 coin flips wrong. It's like, wow. What a great mechanic. When you're doing badly and then you can just make a comeback due to luck. When that was being tested, Baton Pass was okay, but then became awful once Espeon made it. Once they made Magic Bounce Espeon, Baton Pass became too good. I feel like that was it. Baton Pass, like, the thing about Baton Pass that made it kind of fun was that you had 6 shit mons that were only okay because of the Baton Pass chain. Which meant you had to, like, there was a lot of really smart playing around on both sides. But, like, the main counters to Baton Pass were, like, phasing and, like, what do you call it? I forget. There were, like, a few things. Literally, after they added Espeon, the only counter was fucking Parashong. And even then, Parashong wasn't a hard counter because that was soundproof, Mr. Mime. But like, who really runs that? But who really runs Parashong is the real question. I've seen like one Parashong Mon. Like when Toad was a thing, people used to run Parashong Toad occasionally. But ever since Gen 6, the only Mon I've ever seen with Parashong was like a Celebi. Bro, when Roar, Espeon would just bounce back. Once Espeon came in, it just became bullshit. And Espeon's a really good baton pass recipient too, because it's got that stored power and good speed. Espeon is like the fucking... It was such a love letter to baton pass that it ruined baton pass. It made baton pass too good. Oh, that throw. A normal throw? What is this yawn? There it is. Why would you ever go for a normal throw in Gane? I've never seen that once. Because it's bad. Mold breaker circle throw. Ever since Fairy, you could be immune to Dragon Tail. But even then, like, Sub countered that. And Sub is extremely common on baton pass teams. That counters both Detail and Circle Throw. Is there even a Mon that gets Mold Breaker and Circle Throw? The only Circle Throw Mons I can think of are like Poliwrath and the Sumo guy. No, not the Sumo guy. The Throw. Does Hariyama get it? I feel like Hariyama gets it. I know Poliwrath and Throw get it. Pangoro. Oh. I remember Poliwrath. Poliwrath is a cool little Mon. It was bad though. Really bad Mon. But it's cool. Nice cancel. Always really important when you're Akuma to watch for when you're being air parried. Be ready for that. It's not actually a cancel. I think he has to recover. It's only a cancel if it's from Tatsu. Because none of his air attacks actually cancel. He has to wait till he gets fully parried. That's kill. There's like no way out. But Tompass was stupid with Espeon and became mega stupid when people discovered just how fucking good Iron Defense Scolipede was. Remember that shit? Remember Iron Defense Scolipede? Don't miss that. Nice combo. I didn't know about that combo for years and years. And then I suddenly saw Akuma's using it and I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. And I took it to the lab and I was like, oh shit, that's kind of hard. The difficulty depends on which character you're using it on. But Akuma can do medium Tatsu into DP on a lot of characters. I think medium Tatsu, point blank medium Tatsu into medium DP works on like everyone, but it's often a one-frame link. I don't know if it works on everyone, but it works on most characters. And then on some characters you can do point blank medium Tatsu into hard DP. And on some characters you just don't need to put point blank at all. Of course, usually you see light Tatsu, but medium Tatsu does a bit more damage. Light Tatsu naturally works on everyone. I remember when I remember when like Garchomp with Rocky Helmet first became a thing. That was like perfect. That was like a fucking match made in heaven when that synergy was found. Literally never work on Aura or Hugo. That's why it took me so long to find out it worked. It's because no one ever did it on me. I didn't know it didn't work on Aura. Ibuki too. Ibuki falls out of a lot of juggles. Or not a lot. She doesn't fall out of any of Auras. but she does have a unique air hitbox. Parting shot does not kill you. Memento does kill you. That's the main difference. Memento lowers the stats by a lot more. Memento is occasionally better, because if they're going for something like rapid spin, if you Memento, their rapid spin won't hit anything. It's more useful for guaranteeing that you're going to get some fat setup, especially because it lowers the stats by more. Parting shot will not kill you. Parting shot is like usually better. It depends. It depends on what you're trying to do. I've seen that shit. You need the first and last hit of ground air, hard Tatsu. It's kind of hard to set it up, but it's doable. It's a really cool looking combo. People call those the Kuroda combos. They've been known since before Kuroda, but Kuroda was like the first Akuma I've ever seen. A lot of people have ever seen who actually use them in real matches. I think defog also doesn't work if you don't have a target. Like, even though defog works through protect or whatever, I think it does. If you Memento, their defog won't go off. What's really funny, which is why Garchomp is so cool, is if your opponent uses rapid spin and then dies to recoil, their rapid spin doesn't clear hazards. So if you're Garchomp and you're just spamming Stealth Rock, and if they're, I don't know, fucking Excadrill, and they're just spamming rapid spin, they will eventually die to Rocky Helmet plus Rough Skin. And on the turn they die, you'll put up Stealth Rock and they won't clear it. So you can, like against any spinner, Garchomp can force the Stealth Rocks to stay up. Also, it's a really nice answer to U-turn spam. Because every single time something clicks U-turn, Garchomp has a decent defense and a decent typing that it doesn't really mind. And then, you know, the Mon that fucking U-turns takes whatever hazard damage it would have taken, plus U-turn, plus Rocky Helmet, plus Rough Skin. Sometimes you just gotta do it, some guy. I was putting it off until literally like 2 hours ago. And now I'm really glad I did it because it was fun. Does that actually work on everyone? I thought that didn't work on a bunch of characters. Maybe not a bunch, but some. I only ever see it on a few characters. Most people don't really do it on like that many people. I know it's really, really tight on the characters that I've only ever seen it on. Okay, remember Gen 3? Like, the only thing that could kill a Swampert was either the random Hidden Power Grass, which no one ran ever, or Explosion or Self-Destruct. Like, Swampert was just unkillable. And those were like the only actual ways of killing the Swampert on your opponent's team. It's like I've got a Self-Destruct on this with something, or Explode on it with something. My Snorlax or my Metagross or whatever. And everyone was like, man, like, imagine if Swampert got Damp. It would be like the ultimate ability to put Damp on Swampert. And then Gen 5 rolled around and they gave hidden abilities to all the starters. And Swampert actually got Damp because Game Freak was listening. And it was a pretty cool ability, except they cut the power of explosion moves in half, so no one ran them anymore. And also, while they were giving fucking Swampert Damp, they accidentally gave Blaziken Speed Boost. Accidentally on purpose. It was a cruel joke. Swampert gets Damp and Blaziken gets Speed Boost. It's not fair. Nothing died in Gen 3 because nothing had any coverage. Pokemon were just flinging around base 60 power moves. Contrary Smug Snake is probably my second favorite Contrary user. My favorite is Spinda, no contest. Spinda is the greatest Contrary user. Wait, hold on, Shuckle too. Smug Snake is very clearly the best though. Superior. I want to pee you when I go. Shut up. Skeptile saw some use in Gen 3. It was not as good as Swampert. I don't even think it was as good as Blaziken. Swampert was one of the best mons in all of Gen 3, to be honest. Alright, you want to know about Skarmory in Gen 3? In Gen 3, and Gen 2, and Gen 1, all moves with certain types were either physical or special, right? That was before the split. So every single... Skarmory had really good defense, and the only two types it's weak to are Fire and Electric, and Fire and Electric are special, always. So you couldn't hit Skarmory with a physical attack and be super effective. Skarmory beat, like, all fucking physical attackers in the whole game. And also Blissey existed. And Blissey beat, like, all, like, special attackers in the whole game. So that little core... That core still exists, too. That core is, like, as good as it ever was. Let's keep this rolling. Only, like, really random mons would actually beat that core. Like Blaziken. Blaziken would have the special fire moves and the physical fighting moves. Be able to break the Skarmbliss. I remember a lot of people would just run 4 offensive mons plus Skarmbliss. Skarmbliss was painful even after Infernape showed up. Infernape is just literally Blaziken but better. Pre-speed boost anyway. Pokemon guides for this gen? No. What even is a Pokemon guide? Like a fucking metagame analysis? I'm like behind on this gen. I'm behind on last gen. And last gen's over. Sunfisk was literally never viable. Oh. I read again in that, but there was no again. Speed Boost was so cool when they first added it, and then it became so shit. No mon that had Speed Boost should have ever gotten Baton Pass. I'm actually 100% okay with Scolipede. Scolipede is just fine. I used Jellythorn a lot. That was a really good core. I didn't use Jellythorn so much as I used Firethorn Politoed, which was, you know, not as good, but also Rain. Munga's Heatran Slowbro. That's scum. I would see that. I would see that on my opponent's team, and I'd be like, okay, this is gonna be a long one. Ah, that requires a Kara. Yen's Kara off of stand light kick. You just literally do quarter circle forward into light kick Kara light punch. Getting the Kara itself is not too hard, but you also have to do it on the first available frame. So it's you know, frame perfect twice over. 4 is still okay, if it's cost up 4. It was only Ninjask, and then, I forget what got it next. Yanmega got it, and it was totally okay on Yanmega, because Yanmega is not, like... Yanmega can't pass it to anyone, and Yanmega has... Even, no matter how fast Yanmega gets, it's still manageable. That's the thing about Yanmega that makes it fair. They're like switching to Yanmega even if it had, like, 999 speed. It's not a very good mon. Or it's not bad, it's just like, you know, if you see the Yanmega on your opponent's team, it's really easy to play around. It's like, okay, I saved my fucking... There's so many types that just ruin bug flying. You can keep your fucking steel type alive. You can keep your fire type alive. Ooh, cool. You can keep your Rog type alive. It's a very easy type to resist. Yeah, and Mega honestly is better with tinted lens. It was cool. They both had the little niches. Speed Boost and Mega was a good like endgame sweeper, and I remember having a lot of fun with Specs tinted lens and Mega punching holes. That was a good throw. He got right in there. Every gen's like hole punch mon. I love. What's like the current hole punch mon? Just comes in early game and just fires off a strong ass attack where there's like no resistance in the whole game. Ooh. Like Banded Cure in Black. Remember that shit? It's like, here's my outrage. You got to play SF2? Tell me all about it, dog. I bet it's good. Alright, so does it have input leniency at all? I know it has Throw-Tex, right? Hole punch mons, dude. Just some mon that just is really early game. It's like Specs or Banded. And it's a mon where there's technically no counters. Like Hydreigon. Pre-fairy type. If you click the right move, something does. Very similar to ST. Okay. Tapu Koko is pretty strong. What about Tapu Bulu? That thing is strong as fuck. Banded Tapu Bulu, what do you call that move? Woodhammer. It's pretty fucking powerful. Akuma has been ugly in every single game. You can tech throws with 2 lights, but doing a throw is different? What the fuck? That's weird. Still 1-button throws, but techs are 2-button? Aw, damn, he'd already jumped. That was a good read. How do you get to that level where you read that? Input leniency is a thing. That's really cool. It doesn't like fix comboing in Street Fighter 2. Because comboing in Street Fighter 2, they probably fixed that as well. The way that the game skips frames in Street Fighter 2. And depending on the cycle of the frame skip, some links will either exist or not. If it's a 1-frame link, that means it doesn't exist half the time. I think. So what's Violent Ken do? How's he different? I literally know nothing about Violent Ken. Open me up. Shift my paradigm. Red pill me. On Violent Ken. The problem with Tapu Bulu is like the whole point of like a mon that punches holes is that you have like that mon and then you have another mon later on of the same type that like cleans up and their counter is gone because they lost it to the hole punch mon. That was really good with Dragon type, but the problem is there's too many things that resist grass. There's like no grass sweepers. So like even though you punch some holes with your grass attacks, it doesn't do anything for later. It's like, what sweep are you setting up? When you spammed Garchomp Outrage, or not Garchomp, when you spammed Kieran Black Outrage, you were opening up you were opening up a door for your Dragonite later on in the match. For your SD Dragonite. Your DD Dragonite, excuse me. Hits harder than Ken. Alright, so what's the reason you would pick him instead of... What's the reason you pick Ken instead of him? I respect Volcanion. I haven't seen that since Gen 7. See, Volcanien's a good hole puncher because it fucking... it sets up like a rain, like a water sweep, and it's really hard to have good water resist. Not that many types resist water: grass, water, and dragon. And there's a lot of good water sweepers, and they can sweep in a lot of different ways. They can sweep by being fast, or they can sweep by being strong. And they can sweep physical or special. Trying to approach really safely. Very nice parry. If that was like a fake out dive kick, Yum would have been able to whiff punish that grab. Did any of his Tatsus launch? That juggle! I've never seen that one. That was pretty weird. Ah. That was like Stand Fierce cancel to Crutch Roundhouse repeatedly. That was a really weird one. Oh, he went for parry, but the first hit of EX Rekka whiffed, and he had the right read on the parry too. You could see him tap forward. What a reset. Done. No juggle. That works though. You just got to do a fat walk forward. There's other buttons you can do. Yang has really strange juggles on stun opponents in the corner. I mean, he's got just Rekkas. You can just do Rekkas. Remember in AE when they made Far Strong have juggle potential, but Close Strong not have juggle potential? That was a really weird thing. Yang is underrated against Chen, I feel. Kuroda put Yang really low on his tier list. Kuroda is the master, and Yang is a character who gets a little bit destroyed by parries compared to most characters. Oh yeah, Hoopa Unbound. That's a good one. Specs Hoopa Unbound. Or, you know, Banded. I'll probably get it if only because the Switch will have no games for a pretty good amount of time. Ooh, these reads. He missed the super cancel though. Those parries look really impressive, but actually Yang doesn't have a whole lot he can do there other than more Rekkas. He could have done Stone Roundhouse at the same time and I think it still would have worked. Or rather, one parry sooner. For medium kick. I doubt he wanted that. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about arms. I've only ever seen images. I haven't seen gameplay yet. I know that it has motion controls and also that you can turn them off. What would it take to make Blanca viable in Street Fighter 2? Blanca's not even the worst character. Kami's probably the worst character. Blanca, Kami, and Zangief would be extremely hard to balance. Also Honda. Oh. Red means not default. the extra settings one was the only one that was red. I already know why. It's because it's set to event mode, which is not default. I've gone through the Japanese menu of Street Fighter 3 before. Many times. So I used to go in there to turn the rounds up. You can also make the timer take a really long time, or a really short time. You can also raise or lower the damage. Fully Fireball Invincible Blanca Balls would be insane. That would actually break him. That would destroy so many characters. A very punishable Blanca Ball that went through Fireballs would actually be pretty interesting. I think they could maybe give him that and make it work. But something you had to predict with. If you could react to Fireballs, it wouldn't work. Or rather, it would work too well. Blanca had a Blanca Ball that was something like Seth's EX Hyakuretsu Kyaku. But maybe a bit slower. And a bit farther range. That would be kind of interesting. I would want to see that. I would want to see good players play around with that. Ooh, he actually got the confirm there. Stand strong, stand short. Young Strongs have good frame advantage. Oh. I remember when David Serlin was doing HD Remix, he said the very, very first change he made was make Kemi's spin knuckle go through fireballs. Capcom has already said that SF3 will be Switch exclusive unless it sells well, in which case it'll go to other shit. Every time Capcom has ever said it depends on how it sells, they haven't followed through. Remember Darkstalkers is not dead. I think there were some other ones. Remember when Capcom promised Street Fighter 5 on Linux? Do you think that was just a mistake? Do you think someone just like didn't know what Linux was? That's such a weird thing to promise. Like, how on earth? Like, I never hear about fucking games getting Linux ports. It's like someone tricked a Capcom exec into saying that. I feel bad for anyone who actually, like, you know, was like, I wouldn't have used Linux, but I was gonna use Linux, but I wouldn't have used it if it was gonna keep me from playing Street Fighter 5. I bet that was no one. I bet the Linux community is just like, hey, look, there's a game. We don't care what it is, we want it because we don't have any. I'm pretty sure Linux can natively install a shit ton of games. Open source and all that. I like thought that Linux just worked with like Windows installs on a ton of shit. Ugh. Why'd he hit Jump Fierce? I don't know that much about Linux. I don't know anything about this fucking Ubuntu. Or this penguin. It'll be Pokken 2. What are you guys talking about? Smash 4 probably will come out, but I bet Pokken 2 will come out faster. Actually, I have no idea. Pokken's pretty cool. So is Splatoon. Nintendo can still do things right. Shovel Knight. What about Shantae? That's a punish. Lots of characters have a pretty hard time punishing that. As Oro, usually if you don't get the red parry as Oro, I'm pretty sure you have to get like stand around house or towards strong or something like that. You just get like a fucking poke as your punish. It's like okay. I love that combo. It looks really cool. I like how Akuma kind of has it in Street Fighter 5. Because if people say Splatoon aloud, then it's not clear which one they're talking about. Empty jump, low forward. I think tomorrow I'm actually going to work on Rising Up 3. I think I'm actually going to start and maybe even finish it. Okay, I've technically already started it, but you know. Even Splatoon is a godlike pun. Like just the base version. Oh no. That was part 2 of 3. Let's watch part 3 of 3. Oh wait, this is part 3 of 3. Not this. I like top tier characters in this game, but we've been seeing a lot of top tiers really quickly. I like the East versus West Wars. This actually is an East versus West War. I think. I'm looking at this title and I only see West. West, Day, Spring, something. Ba, Sus, versus. That could have been super. I'm pretty sure that would have nearly killed Crouching Young. That's a shame. You can actually just cancel low strong, which is fine if you get a parry. Of course, linking it's a bit more consistent because you can react to your hit. Linking's less consistent if you're not good with your links, though. But like every Ken is, links are not very hard into super. What the fuck, Far Fierce? He probably wanted Close Fierce. That's like a really weird meaty button. Even Close Fierce is kind of weird. You'd rather use mediums because they leave you closer. And also because Ken's mediums have good follow-ups. And by mediums, I mean close medium punch. Oh. That was a really weird Far Fierce. I can't picture what it was supposed to be. There's a lot of value in Street Fighter 3 to being unpredictable. To doing unexpected things, even if the things are bad. This is a game where you can go for some very mediocre stuff to catch people unaware. That's like a weird little part of the metagame of Street Fighter 3. Being predictable is fucking awful in this game. And you sometimes have to do some very strange things to not be predictable. A really obvious example with Ken is the fadeaway Samurai House. Or just Samurai House in general. Ken has extremely good low forward and extremely bad standing pokes. But low forward's a low parry. And at a lot of ranges, like Ken can attack you with sweep or low forward or like nothing else. And it's like, well, from these ranges I can go for low parry and it'll always be the right decision because none of Ken's attacks are high parry from that range, except stand roundhouse. So Ken will just do shit like meaty stand roundhouse from like mid range, just because they're going to be going for the low parry. Stuff like that. That's a really obvious one. Or like Yun stand fierce to beat parries because it's 2 hits. It's like it's not very good at all. You don't get any sort of follow-ups. It's just 100%, you know, the other side of a mix-up. And being on the bad side of a mix-up, being on the safe low damage side of a mix-up is important. High diet plan. This is a very deadly scenario for Makoto. She broke out. Oof. That's good there. When Ken corners you and gets a throw, you're in just such a shit position. There's 3 things he can do, and it's really hard to defend yourself against more than one. He can throw you. He can do a low that combos to super. He can do an overhead that combos to super. Oh shit, it is diet plane. I already knew that, I just forgot. Every time I see it, it's just the word diet and the word plane look less natural than the word diet and the word plane. Damn. I'm not even gonna apologize. What about Orion Fire? Remember that guy? I called him Onion Fire for the first, like, while that I knew him. And he's like, hey, by the way, Bash, read my name. I'm like, oh, it's Orion. It looked kind of like Onion. Stand short's good there. Makoto doesn't have great frame data after a dash punch. She's only like frame neutral. I don't know if she's frame neutral, but like it's not like a horrible scenario. That looks so weird. I mean, it looks really normal. It's stand fierce into medium roll. But the thing is, it looks like light roll, but light roll actually whiffs there. Medium roll normally has like a little bit of rolling, but it doesn't in that one combo. Orion Fire doesn't really roll off the tongue very well for me. That was the very late cancel. That was cool. Oh my god, he's dead. EX dash punch will kill. Stand fierce, regular dash punch, max meter build. That whole match played itself after the second half. All his plays were readily apparent. Needs reset. There's no way to combat the EX drop that I'm RF. Oh, that wasn't even a cancel. This should dizzy or kill. Dash forward towards fierce. Huh? Give him a chance to shake out. I'm pretty sure dash forward towards fierce is the absolute fastest way you can get in. Dash punch is too far away, and after a forward dash, you can't walk in at all. And after a forward dash, you can't do a dash punch because you'll just get a fucking Fukiage. So dashing into towards fierce is the quickest way to close the gap. With a well-timed forward dash into towards fierce, I don't think you can shake out even with task level shaking. But like if Makoto does two dashes, you actually can shake out. It's really hard, but I've seen people do it. I've never done it. One little cute thing that KYSG does, the guy who makes Third Strike tool assisted combo videos, whenever he had the dummy like get stunned and he didn't like complete the combo, it's just showing off the combo that stunned the opponent, he would always have the dummy shake out of done with task level shaking. Baleful gem. Yeah, I would call it the Befale gem. I would keep one on my character at all times. When I played MapleStory, my character's name was Limon. And I remember like really early on at like level 20s. This is a long fucking time ago. Really early on level 20s, some guy is like, "Hey, your name," and then he like fucking started to trade with me, and then he gave me a lemon. He's like, "Your name is kind of like lemon," and I kept that lemon in my inventory for the entire time that I had the character. I'll never forget that guy. That guy left a fucking permanent impression on me. I hope that heaven exists, and also that he goes there, and also that I get there, so I can fucking catch up with him. Nice. Oh no, he missed the cancel. That's supposed to be staying short into dash punch, probably. I don't know. It looked like he did fierce there, and fierce dash punch doesn't combo after staying short, I think, so I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. Nice, he did the option select. I've talked about that before. Use the parry to determine whether you're on the ground or in the air, and then if you're on the ground, you block. And if you're in the air, you keep parrying. If you're ever not sure if you landed or not. Nice. Use the parry to help figure out. If you just hold block and pray that you landed in time, sometimes you won't have, sometimes you will. If you parry the entire thing grounded, it's a total waste of a parry because the opponent can just run up and hit you. It depends on what you're parrying because it can be a super. Because certain supers hit like that. I have a lot of really dumb memories of Maple Story, but I have a lot of fun memories too. Goken's name in Japanese is still Goken. Goken means Go means strong and Ken means fist. The kanji in his name. His name means strong fist. Nice. That was a really good reaction actually, holy shit. Who would be ready for that? Like, what Akuma ever goes for taunts in neutral? And why would Chun-Li be looking for something to super like that? I guess she could have been looking for a fireball to super as well, but you don't see that very much either. Akuma's name in Japanese, Go-Ki, means the Go is still strong, it's the same Go. And then the Ki is a variation of demon. I don't remember which one, but there's like several demon-based words in Japanese, and it's one of them. It's not the Ma in Akuma. The reason Shenlong happened was because these characters is it, hold on, which one is it? You think I'd recognize it? Is it Sho? Is it Sho with a long O? The Ken is oh fuck, which one's the Ken? It's been so long. It should just jump out at me. I feel like one of the ones I looked at. Oh, it's that one. It's been so long. I haven't looked at any of these fucking characters in ages. I don't remember the Sho and Shoryuken. I feel like it should just jump out at me. It might be a short show. Anyway, the point is the Shoryu in Shoryuken is literally Rising Dragon. And Ryu says something along the lines of, "You must defeat my Rising Dragon to stand a chance." And they used the kanji, and then the translation team thought that the Shoryu was Chinese. I mean, it was Chinese because it was kanji, but they thought it was a name. So they used it, they translated it, they transliterated it without translating it, as you would do with a name. Do not remember which one it is. I think it looks kind of like that one, but I don't think that one's it. Those two characters at the beginning of SF2 have names. I forget who they are. It sure would make more sense if Street Fighter was called Final Fight and Final Fight was called Street Fighter. Nice. Good pickup. Got him. I think they already had names. I think they've had names for a while. They're like not important characters by any means. My backdash. Because of the timing of the Makoto forward dash is a lot farther than her backdash. But because of the timing, the forward dash pushed Makoto a bit, and then the backdash like happened midway through the pushing. So the backdash didn't leave her point blank, even though forward dash normally chase down a backdash. That was a really weird little scenario. Makoto is unfortunately very random to fight. It's theoretically possible to remove the randomness through very careful footsies. There's an anti-Makoto footsie. Makoto's one of those characters, classic grappler, where there's theoretically a very robotic way to play against her, where she falls to pieces, where her mix-up no longer works. And since she's fully reliant on her mix-up, she gets destroyed more so than other characters who you can play robotically against. She doesn't really have a way of robotically playing herself. Okay. The forward dash, you get hurled forward if you get swept during a forward dash. I think the Season 2 characters are, the Season 1 characters are a fuck ton more interesting than the starting characters for Street Fighter V. And Season 2 was the year of Season 1, Season 1, the start of Season 2 is the fucking, the new balance patch is the fucking best thing that could ever happen to the Season 1 characters. Obviously, I love Ibuki, but I also love Juri. I also love Urien, fighting and playing. And I also love Balrog. I have mixed opinions on Balrog. I like seeing him in tournaments a lot. I get really excited when I'm seeing a Balrog. I find him intimidating to fight. I also love Guile, I guess. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on Guile as well. I feel like they overbuffed him for sure. Huh. Nah, I give a fuck about Laura. I'm like not afraid of Laura. I know the Laura matchup pretty well. So like of all the characters that could shoot to high tier, I'm glad it's one I know really well. Excuse me. If you want to pick a Varian, now's the time. He's not super hard to play. No one is in Street Fighter 5. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Street Fighter 5 is a pretty great game with a really terrible launch, and also a really terrible upkeep. Some vaguely terrible communication in the middle of that too. In most cases it would be a lot better for business to make the game look pretty than run smoothly. But now Capcom has a reputation, and that reputation is damaging them more than anything. Not that I would agree with them fucking, you know, I think playing better is more important than looking better a million times over. I love that combo. I don't know why. I always thought it just looked really cool. Crouch medium kick into DP. Doesn't matter the version. You can't do crouching DPs in this game. DP shortcuts are different. Ooh. Kent is a bit strong. They're just different. I'm like tired of not being able to make random videos for the Shoryuken channel. I've like been putting off making random videos just because I haven't finished Rising Up, but it's only one more video until I'm done with Rising Up. I mean, I'm never really going to be done with it, but just there's like 3 introductory parts that are literally like how to play, and I've now done 2 of them. But I wish I could just do little videos on shit like what the fuck is a cross-up? What am I line almost for? Chasing down Dizzy. Chasing down and avoiding Dizzy. I mean, I can. It's just I've just been putting it off until I finish Rising Up. It's like, well, you know, it's gonna be weird if there's just like Rising Up Supplemental, Rising Up Supplemental. I just want to call them Rising Up, but it's gonna be really weird if I make like 5 videos called Rising Up, and then I make another one called Rising Up Part 3. What other fighting games have you played / liked? I'm a big fan of the Mortal Kombat series. I really like King of Fighters. I played a lot of 13. I played a lot of MK9 and a lot of MKX and a lot of Injustice. I mean, almost every fighting game I've played I liked. I usually stick to just 2D. I remember playing Tekken and Soul Calibur in my youth, and I like them quite a lot, but like I've never played them at any competitive level. I casually play BlazBlue, like very casually. I only lab, and then I also casually play Multi-Blood, as in I also only lab. And I guess Nitro plus Blasters I've labbed a decent amount too. Now, I would say I like all those games. I like watching them a lot. But mostly Street Fighter 3, 4, and 5. I remember that guy. I remember that entire guy. There's literally nothing broken about Sub-Zero being plus fucking whatever it is. I think it's more than 36. It's actually very balanced that it works like that. Oh, that was a punishable fireball. He could have been supered. Nice. Anti-cancel. Opinion on Skullgirls or Marble? I think they're great to play, but I don't like them at all. So, like, I mean, they're great to watch, but I don't like them at all to play. There's too much shit going on. It's too much for me. I don't like games with assists unless the assists are... the only game that had assists where I didn't mind the assists so far has literally been that one. Measure Plus. And only because the assists are basically another special move that you can use. I mean, the assists are always like another special move you can use. Let's watch another. I'm still into this. Sub-Zero's Fireball is that plus because it was designed so that he could trade his Fireball with other Fireballs and still get a full combo. I think it was 2016. This is important because Sub-Zero's Fireball is actually pretty shitty, and thus it needs to be able to do stuff like that. It's balanced around its high reward because of its poor startup and Sub-Zero's other tools, which are kind of mediocre. That is why Sub-Zero is the way he is. Sub-Zero, like, he was made very specifically. A lot of balanced design space was taken by Ice Clone and Ice Ball. Not really. There's like 4 people probably who still play MVC1 at a professional level. I think actually there's a decent amount of people who play it on Fightcade, right? I think it's on Fightcade. I think there's people who have those scumbag Red Venom Gold Iron Man teams. Gold War Machine. Strider. MVC1 is really stupid though. That's a fighting game I actually know a decent amount about. And it's got a very dumb metagame at a high level because it literally has like 0 way to open the opponent up. The combo options are pretty good, but it's just like the mix-up options are so shit. Throws are really tiny range and you can't combo off of them. For the most part. Red Venom can combo off his throw. I think Venom can too. Also, pretty much all attacks do like no damage except supers. So like combos are like entirely for meter building. Also, in order to call an assist, you have to basically do your taunt. So like calling an assist takes way too long. It's like really hard to make the assist work. The good assists are like Juggernaut and Psylocke and Colossus and those that just like shoot across the screen and just give you a shit ton of time to hit them. Wolverine Strider is like the easiest good team. The thing is, like, Red Venom is the best character, but like if you want to run Red Venom, you've got a decent chance of getting smashed because he's got super low HP. He's like Akuma, but even worse in all regards. Not even worse, but just even more extreme. Lower health, higher tier. Colossus is probably the best one. Psylocke and Juggernaut are just fine. There's some other really specific assists that are kind of cool. The fact that you have to taunt to call an assist makes this assist not very good. It's so hard to, like, and the overheads aren't very good at all. Or like there really aren't that many overheads. They're like none. It's more like instant overhead kind of bullshit, but you can't easily get instant overheads. There's no like instant air dashing for free instant overheads or anything like that. The closest thing to an actual mix-up in Marvel 1 is putting up Ouroboros with Strider and then teleporting. But that's still like reactable. It's still honestly really fucking hard to open the opponent up. The only way there's ever fucking openings are when people counter hit each other, for the most part. It creates this really weird meta. We can look at a little bit of Marvel 1 footage if you want to look at it. It's really strange. Marvel 1 actually has good balance, mostly because of its incredibly small roster and the fact that nearly everyone has an infinite. Oh, I remember that shit. Devil Lot was unblockable. That was a weird one. Strider Ouroboros was really good. If only because it locked the fuck out of the opponent. It did lots and lots of chip. And again, chip was really important because it was really hard to open the opponent up. And you know, you could occasionally open people up. But the lockdown and the chip were a lot more common than the opening up. Strider was one of the best characters, but he still wasn't that good. Wolverine had an okay mix-up, but that's, you know, it wasn't really that okay. Wolverine was really fast, and he could get nice full-screen conversions. Gambit was okay, too, because he had infinite that wasn't too hard to land. Actually, I don't remember how hard it was. I remember Gambit being kind of good, though. Neat. People getting into Third Strike these days makes me happy. Makoto is one of the best characters to play if you want a very Third Strike-y experience. I'm going to warn you that she's pretty weird, though. It's Kihara. I've almost never heard anyone say that, but I've always thought it. Everyone always acts like always buff is always the right play. And I think in Street Fighter 5 they'd probably be right. There's more buffing. There's more room for buffing. But everyone always acts like only buff is good. But eventually you get to this stupid level where every character just has fucking mash mix-ups. Or God forbid every character has every tool. Phoenix is, there was a Phoenix in top 8 just recently. Ryan LV. Also, a Filipino champ is a human being who exists. But Ryan LV literally was in Frosty Faustings playing Phoenix. Most of the Dark Phoenix, most of the anti-Phoenix tech only like requires specific characters to use, and most people don't use those characters. It's like, yeah, you can get free kills on Dark Phoenix if you have Spider-Man or X-23, but who does? Yeah, you can get 50-50 on her from TAC, but you know, if you actually get that 50-50 or if you get the TAC set up, is not guaranteed. Hi, ominous. Interesting. Don't throw there. Do attacks. Someone's coming down on something. Ryu should have done like stand strong. He was too late regardless. Phoenix is still strong in Marvel 3. She's definitely like not. You can do the same thing with like Virgil. You can still make like a 3-to-1 comeback, but you don't need 5 bars. You can just put Virgil on the end of any team, and Virgil can make a 3-to-1 comeback with 2 bars. Virgil's like Phoenix's main niche is just covered by other like level 3 abuse characters. Like Phoenix's mix-up is better, but like is it that much better that it's worth running, like, you know, not using any meter the whole match and risking getting snapped back and all that?
やめてあげてください。そういうこと言わないでください。徳良さん頑張ってますから。
マジですか。
はい。徳良さんはプレイヤートクペディアってやつですよね。トクペディアのもう充実してるし、やっぱりゲームの
Viscant is an important human being.
あ、そうなんですか。
I still every now and then see posts talking about me fucking dissecting the Viscant
してる
posts.
のは
Everyone always misinterprets what I
そう
said.
ですけど、
I am very critical of what he said about Third Strike, but my whole point was that he treated differences like problems.
素晴らしい。
I would say,
一緒に
yes, that's true, so.
これは
And people would always fucking quote it like he doesn't even have a response. Bap doesn't even have a response to Viscant. But what I was trying to say with yes, that's true, so is why is that worse?
ここでなえないで
I think ST is a good game, and I think Third Strike is a good game.
いや
しっかり
I think they both have their strengths based on their different system mechanics.
続きまして
金平ですから。
そうあの徳良さんから伸びしろがあるなんて俺言われたことないですから、ね、
But he thought that because it was different, it was worse.
だってね
はい、
Because the exact same scenarios couldn't exist, it was worse.
でもこれこそ若手ですよ。若手の
正真正銘の
はい
若手ですよね。徳良さんとは違って。
徳良さんに一押ししてもらうためには鉄砲玉さんを
It's like, well, there's new scenarios.
ないとやはり
The new scenarios are kind of cool.
求められるハードルが若干高いのか。うわここはさあ体力ないけど
I could have made a good video dissecting what Viscant said,
で
and not just done it in the middle of a random live stream.
うおーちょっと待って
And then my points would have been more clear.
ってなって移動投げ
Maybe one day I'll actually talk to Viscant, and we'll discuss things like two good civilized gentlemen.
広いですね。この移動投げの間合いがうまい。
That was really nice.
逃げれない鉄砲玉さんが逃げれないぞ。最強キャラですね。この蹴りが後ろに当たりました今。
Dude, I was at Starbucks today. Starbucks inside in Albertson, so it wasn't like a normal Starbucks. And I ordered a vanilla coffee, and the lady was like an iced coffee, and the lady was like, "Do you want any milk in that?" And I said no, and she made this face at me. It's like, is it that weird? People order coffee without milk all the time.
さあなんとちょっと信じられねえと。
She looked at me like all disgusted.
2人目で3人目でおめえ耳
How dare you get coffee without milk in it?
さあここで
Like she turned her like actually not she didn't like look at me disgusted. She didn't like try to fucking make an expression. It was like very clearly just a subtle one. Her lip turned up though. I could see it. It was literally disgust. I could see the disgust in her face.
やばい。これは画面端一気に追い込まれている。だが入れ替わって、あ、ここはちょっとなんかやろうとしたけど出なかった。
Like I did something weird.
しっかり削って。
I get the cheapest coffee and I have it as plain as possible.
完璧な
I usually get just the fucking
パターンにはまった
fresh roast coffee, whatever it's called.
理想的な1ラウンド目ですね。
そうですね。そして
Freshly
この
brewed coffee.
状況ですよね。
はい。
But I wanted something nice and icy.
ゲージ状況
I wanted cold.
でさあここでダブルアップ狙っていく当然。一撃で殺してくるスタイル。おーさあこれは
これは一番いいんじゃないですか。
おおピヨッタ。おー
How do you work in a Starbucks and not get like the stupidest orders imaginable?
ミミックさんもいい状況ですよ。わからない。ただ貯めてから
I always get like zero fixings and dark roast.
おー
I want black as night and bitter as fuck.
減る。さあここでもうおマジか。さあしっかりガードしてお空投げお熱い。だけどここの
The old Befegs probably stopped showing up when I stopped watching fighting games.
ギリギリですかね。
ギリギリかな。
Excuse me, playing fighting games.
さあここで
I might do a stream tomorrow where I script
お
Rising Up Part 3. I'm generally more efficient at actually doing work
ね
when I'm on stream rather than less efficient.
絶対よ結構ヒーリング
I tend to easily distract myself, but not when I'm streaming.
マジか
Very nice.
最強
I level Ana in this game. This is the Elena that I wish that we got in Street Fighter 4.
あれしゃがみガードっすか。まあ唐草大
まあ
盤
唐草でまだ全然
生き残る
I wonder if we could have gotten another DP there.
状況です。
Elena's DPs have really fast recovery. Sometimes if she get anti-air DP, she can do follow-ups.
リスクリターン的にガンガードで合ってるっぽいね今ね。
Elena's DP like doesn't really have good. It doesn't really have the hitbox is kind of weird because it's the hits are so spread out,
さあここで
and it doesn't have invincibility really. The X one has a bit, so they balanced it by making it kind of strong and pretty fast.
投げからの
Ugh. That was like the right punish. He just missed his car throw.
とりあえずこれでお
Oh no.
マジかよ。
エレナの昇竜拳って
はい。
あれ無敵
Elena is very.
あー
S-
無敵
Elena has 0 combo options in this game. That's like the main difference. Street Fighter 4 like balanced everyone around having like combos.
ノーマルはどういう
Elena is like the anti-combo.
のがあるんですか。知ってる。
Everyone thinks Elena's idle animations look off. It's because she's rotoscoped. Or rather, she's more obviously rotoscoped than every other character.
エレナの昇竜拳の無敵どことかみんな実は
I don't care about Elena's tier. I do think Elena's kind of strong. And by kind of strong, I mean number 2 in the game.
知ってるやつは知ってるかもしれない。
What I actually think is wrong with Elena in Street Fighter 4 is just like her spirit was lost. And her spirit is really cool.
特に天敵みたいな
A character with a really, really solid mix-up and 0 combo ability.
ことを調べ尽くして
Very good mix-up, very low
そ
damage.
ういうところは知らないとやって
Is a really cool idea. There aren't really that many characters like that.
ムーブまで調べないといけないっていうね。
なるほどね。
さすがバック。お、厚刈りさん
I think Elena's number 2. I've had a lot of time to reflect on it, and I think Evil Ryu is probably a bit better.
SA はブレイブ。
That's my opinion, though, and you can
ブ
disagree.
レイブ対ヒーリング。
ブレイブ対ヒーリングどうなんだろうね。なんか回復されたら結構萎えるんだけど。
Evil Ryu is harder to counterpick than
そ
Elena.
れですか、さすがに。
And Elena's already really hard to
どうとか
counterpick.
っていうのは人によりけりで。さあ、ここからこれがやっぱ強いですよね、投げからの。
かなり厳しい状況。
うんさあ、もう苦しいぞ、これ。さあ、飛びが通って。
I recognize that joke.
うわマジか。
I recognize that username.
スイジャンが強い。さあ、ここで、じゃあ、
I heard the Akuma 27 once defeated an entire army with a single KKZ.
お茶のお菓子をいただきました。洋菓子。これなんて読むんだろうね。
Abel was weird.
茶のか
I can't even begin to explain that.
可能かじゃないですか。
茶のか。そうだね。ここで登場が HD さんの手です。さあ、新潟のカスとは違います。そしてここで提供が入りま
That's
す。
such a hard scenario to get out of.
東西線の提供は
Ken jumps over you really late in the corner.
ワンライフの提供でお送りしております。
She could have walked out a little bit, but if she hit stand strong, Ken's jump medium kick would have still beat it.
調べといて、俺知らなかったわ
Her walk speed isn't good enough to get out of the way of that cross-up range.
HD さん
Empty jump presents a new mix-up as soon as he lands.
ターンになっております。
Ugh.
お
I think he got the car throw, but I think his walk in was still bad.
かなり強い
He went for the late jump over again, but Elena's own jump was good. Was that a punish? Are you fucking kidding me?
最強もうボタン押せない
That was really good, but like, holy shit.
やばいですね。
Elena's low strong punishable by Shippu on block? How do you even play the matchup? Ken's so bullshit. Good lord. Alright, timeout. I'm gonna look for something really fast. Ken's Shippu is very good at punishing things. It's 3-frame startup. And a lot of shit in Street Fighter 3 is -3 or worse. A lot. Like a whole lot. Ken's Shippu can punish like a quarter of all attacks in the game. Or like a third. It's like ridiculous.